So it's on you. Hey, that's my loud. So switch on the TV. We may make it up on channel 2. Look out your window, I can see his light. We can sparkle, he may land tonight. Don't tell your papa, he'll get us locked up in pride.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?
Hey, what's up everybody? Today I will be talking about a topic that is going to be more romanticized, a topic that most people want to hear, I'm sure, and because the other is that we're in a simulation. So there's two probable outcomes with the 1972 glitch and the 2020 glitch, and showing how, and I've been right time and time and again, and it's not because of, like I said before, because of magical powers, unless literally there are aliens and I've got some type of magical powers, which the probable outcome of that there's alien advanced life forms is extremely high, more than it is extremely low. The probable outcome that I've got magical powers is extremely low versus of it being extremely high, period. The only reason why I'm able to predict the stuff that I predicted was just looking at 1 year, 1972, and noticing as this year has been going on that things have been becoming undone or coming to an end in this year and are directly connected to 1972. That's something that every single one of you can do. You want to know what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks before this year is up? Just look at all the facts in 1972 and you can do the same thing. It's not, I don't think it's any type of magical anything. It's just looking at a total glitch in time. By the way, I was listening to one of my old videos and I don't really listen to it as much, and it was about the political debates right before they happened. And I was like, man, I was so on everything, like everything was. But I was also talking about that I was listening to C-SPAN that morning, and there was a woman who said that she was in the police department back in 1972, and that she knew a police officer who was very racist, and there was lots of complaints about him and his racism, and nothing ever happened. So she was part of a act that went through, the Ethics Police Act, that went through in the year 1972. So yes, of course, this morning I remembered I was talking about that, and this morning I looked it up, and yes, of course, you're going to see all these dates that are going to come up about police ethics, but it all starts in the year 1972. And then after that, they have all these other dates. Well, yeah, 1970. What was the most unethical thing that we've seen the police do, other than the Rodney King beating? What was worse than that was seeing George Floyd in 2020, the knee on the neck. Most unethical thing that a police officer can do by taking somebody's life in your face on a camera. You go all the way back to 1972. It's when police ethics was put in place. So, I mean, anybody can look this stuff up. But, so, and you see that little Yoda sticking out there? And when I turned the camera on to record this, I was like, I was going to move him. And then I was like, no, I'll just leave him there. It's kind of funny. Because that made me think of, They Live. Have you ever seen the movie They Live? And if you haven't, it's a pretty good movie. Roddy Piper, who just died not too long ago. I think like 2 years ago or something like that. He said in the movie, I come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Many of you guys watch that movie, you probably laugh, think that's funny. But in that movie, They Live, once he got the glasses, 2020, he was able to see. once he got the glasses and he put them on, these special glasses, he could see aliens like all over the place. Like he noticed like billboards were saying obey, and like all these subliminal messages that humans were not understanding that was there, but because our eyes work differently too. And I'm going to talk about some of these other topics too, with space and all that, and galaxies. And but he started noticing all these things. But when he started noticing them, they noticed him. Like he could see us. And that's the same thing with seeing the time glitch in 1972 and the time glitch of 2020. You know, and honestly, guys, I recorded this video a few times, and I was gonna edit it and do all this stuff, and I really don't want to do this video, to be honest. I don't want to do it because I know that it can, if we're in a simulation, which is a higher probability than aliens who are time hacking, which is another possibility. They could be time hacking, but it seems to me the probable outcome is more that we're in a simulation. If we're in a simulation and you go down the road of it's just aliens time hacking because it's more acceptable than thinking that you're in a frozen tube somewhere because you have medical issues and you're waiting until the time they can heal you, you know, it's more acceptable. It's more of a fantasized, romanticized thing. You know, all the movies of, you know, going in space and all these things and alien interactions like Men in Black and all that stuff. But so I do hesitate and didn't really want to do the video because of that, because I think if it's wrong and the other is true, the simulation, which I think is more probable because of certain overwhelming evidence, then that means that this could be a distraction and divert you away from the truth because you want to romanticize about the alien thing, which is completely acceptable. I'm not saying that that's not an acceptable outcome. I'm not saying that's not an acceptable thing, because it's a good possibility that could have happened too. Obviously, most of you already know my alien experience and what happened to me. The only way I can rationalize that in a simulation, and the reason why my mind was unlocked, was because of a hack. Either aliens hacked into the Alcor system, or somebody else, let's say some guy or some woman who wants to expose, maybe that person thinks that it's wrong what's going on in Alcor, and maybe they hacked into the system, you know, or something. I don't know. So that's the only way I can explain it. And they did it by bringing an alien in, leaving alien footprints in my school and unlocking my mind, all that stuff. I don't know. That's just, I didn't talk about this stuff for like 3 years when it happened. I kept it quiet because I have a place of business, and in the martial arts business, if you say you have aliens running around in your school, people will think you're a nut job, and you'll be shut down. You know, nobody will come to your school. They'll quit. Although all my students will think I'm a little crazy anyhow, but they'll think that there's something mentally unstable with you, even though the same people all romanticize about aliens. I mean, it's a hypocrisy within itself, you know, that they would destroy a bit. When you tell people about, you know, I show evidence. Here's evidence of alien intervention. Here's evidence of something that alien left behind, right? People still look at that and go, yeah, okay. Whatever. You know, I mean, what else can you do? I mean, you show evidence, you know, of what was left behind. You say, hey, recreate it. But anyhow, so the other possibility, and my mind was completely unlocked, and it was unlocked to alien life forms and all that stuff as well. And Alex Collier is all over this stuff with aliens, and I listened to his videos. I stumbled upon his stuff about a month and a half ago, and I was listening to him, and I was like, man, a lot of this stuff sounds familiar to me, and I've never heard it before. The stuff he was saying, I'm like, that sounds so familiar, but I've never heard it before. So that could just possibly be that we're in a simulation and I'm just remembering listening to Alex Collier again. Or it could possibly be that the alien interaction that I had, you know, unlocked my mind to understanding these things as if I was kind of already there, or educated me on these things. So that way, when I heard what he was saying, damn, dude, get on your side of the lane, bro. Yeah, anyhow, yeah, so when I heard what he was saying, it was, you know, it already made sense to me. It wasn't like too much and anything new under the sun for me. So when you hear him, you most likely you're going to be blown away, because you're going to be like, oh my God, this does make sense, right? Like this is the way it probably is. This is the way the universe probably works. There's a lot of stuff he doesn't talk about, I'm going to tell you here. And I almost feel like I shouldn't guide you, because if there is alien life forms, and what I'm about to talk to you about is true, and me guiding you could be a way of leading you down a path that you should not be taking. Like, it should be a path on your own path to getting there, to getting to being chosen by these aliens. And that's also where the number 172 would come in, right? But like, let me back up real fast. When I was talking about they lived, and you know, you start noticing them, when you notice the time hack and you notice the glitches, like I started noticing lately, the more I talk about this stuff and the more I expose it, like I notice like people drive by me and they will totally, like most people will stare up in my van, right? Like, and my van is up high, dark tinted windows, and they're just like beaming at me. When I go to stores, and this is not paranoia, when I go to stores, because I'm not afraid, I don't give a shit. So I don't care. I'm just like, yeah, why are you staring so much? And I am not if you've seen pictures of me, I'm not the type of person you really want to fuck with, per se. When you're just like, most people just be like, yeah, I'm gonna walk on the other side of the road, even though I'm not a bad guy. I could be if I wanted to be, for sure, definitely, without a doubt, because that's part of that balance. But most people just don't want to bother. But now, like, it's like they don't even, like, they just, and it's wild. But whatever. And I don't dress I dress to blend in for reasons, very good reasons, and I suggest you do the same. You know, if you have stuff, if you're listening to this and you are, and everything's getting ready to go down the way I think it's going to go down, then my opinion to you is to blend in as much as possible, but keep your critical thinking and keep your mind open, and watch out and make moves that are critical, important moves in a time when would be least expected. Does that make sense to you guys? Because there's going to be a time when either you're in a simulation and things may happen in a certain way, and you have to trick the program. Like, if you don't trick the program, then you're going to literally follow along the path that is set for you. If it's aliens, then look, so a lot of aliens, okay, so Alex Collier was talking about how a lot of aliens have telepathy, which makes a lot of freaking sense, right? Using your vocals and all that, and your vocal cords and stuff like that, that stuff causes stress, you know, on parts of the body, right? Like a singer, you know, you hear that they can't perform tonight because their vocal cords are stressed out. Well, that's, you know, because they're using their voice in a certain way. But whatever, anyhow. So yeah, a lot of them use telepathy, and to the point to where you can't hide anything from them. You can't lie. You can't have any intentions at all that they're not going to see. They'll see it. So if that's true, and you end up crossing an alien species that can, I should really not be talking about this shit. You come across an alien species that can read your thoughts, can read your mind, you're going to have to be able to use hyper unintentional thought patterns to confuse them. It's the only way. You will have to literally learn how to train your mind to have hyper confusion to any being that's trying to read your mind. So that way they can't pinpoint what exactly your intentions are going to be. That's the only way to trick, a species that could read your mind. And yeah, I mean, it makes, yes, a species that just uses telepathy is going to be a more advanced species, period. And go listen to Alex Kohler. He doesn't talk about what I just told you. I'm telling you how to trick him. He doesn't talk about that. And there's going to be species, of course, that are for ill will towards humanity and for goodwill towards humanity. And God, there's just I really should not be telling you guys this stuff, to be honest. I don't really want to talk about it. Oh, you think that you're the most complex creature in the universe? Then you're sadly mistaken, and you will be easily duped into anything. Period. As long as you think that you are more superior, you're mentally superior than all other species in the universe, then that's exactly what a controlling species would want. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Anunnaki are probably the worst of the bunch. They've set up everything. They've set up the entire political system. They set up your money system, your education system. Yeah, I know I shouldn't say your religious system. It all comes back from Egypt. Where did Jesus disappear to for the longest time before he came back to Jerusalem? He was gone, and there was an amount of, whether you believe in a story or not, it's still the story of control, right? He was gone for a long time, supposedly in Egypt, unaccountable time. Where did the Jews first get? God, I really shouldn't be talking about this shit at all. But I guess we're getting closer to the end. Where did they start their religion? Was in Egypt. That's when the ancient Torah was first. They started writing it. Was when they were under Egyptian rule. Well, if you go back to the oldest transcripts or markings on the walls, it's going to show you that there were, thought or whatever the hell his name is, this ancient bird creature, which was also a scroll keeper. And look, if you see winged men and women flying through the sky, or androgynous creatures who are very beautiful and they have big wings and stuff like that, you're automatically going to say, those are angels, those are the good guys. What if you're wrong? What if those are suppressors? Look, a reptilian creature came to me in my sleep, unlike my mind, so I can give you this information. And that could be misleading too, right? It also could be misleading, but my message has always been a message of positive, a message of freedom, right? A message of, love and moving forward. Even saying, hey, the simulation could end by 2020. By the end of 2020, love everybody as much as possible and all that. It's not of, and it's a message of breaking away from systems. So, if it was an alien, which I know it was, and if we're not in a simulation, then how can you figure that would be wrong, right? And I had a debate with somebody a couple of days ago over systems, about systems and things. And well, it first came up that I said about, I would like to learn all languages and learn from all cultures in the world, because I have no prejudice or bias. I have curiosities and acceptance, and that's important. And if there's an alien species here looking for a certain number of people, 172 maybe, because we see how that number keeps coming up, then they're not going to select you if you have things that are blocking your mind, if you are literally stuck in, this guy staring at my van, if you are, and then he's hauls ass, if you are going to repeat what has happened here on this earth, which we know, does any of you right now listening to this, oh, here we go, we're going to go to Dead Man's Curve. Hold on one second. Up on the side of the road there. Do any of you right now think that humanity is going in the right direction? Anyone? Any one of you listening right now, do you truly think that in 20, 30, 40, 100, 200, 300 years, humanity is going in a really good positive direction? So if it's a possibility that an alien life, let me go back to the debate. I'm sorry, I know I'm all over the place. And I'm not even going to edit this video. You guys are going to get it raw for what it is. That looks kind of cool with Yoda in there. Or Grogu. So, when I was debating with the person I was talking about that, it was this woman, she was saying that, well, yes, I want to learn I want to learn from all these cultures too. I want to go and go on vacation and go visit their no. You're talking about you want to just visit and benefit of enjoying some time with just vacationing. I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about I don't need to go to where they live, although I'd like to do that too, but I don't need to go there. I'm perfectly satisfied and fine with learning everything I can about their culture, their language and stuff, right where I'm at right now, so I can understand them. Not because of you know, in some cultures, if you wink at a person, it's considered extremely rude. Or if you give them a thumbs up, that's also considered like giving them the middle finger. You know, you give them a thumbs up, and they may give you 2 thumbs back up. They may stick thumbs up at you, like, yeah, take that. You know. So, and understanding them for they're biased against you as well as their curiosity or love for you as well. You know, accepting people who hate you just because they hate you. They hate what you believe in, they hate the way you think, and accepting that instead of trying to change that or force them to change. See, if an alien species was to come here and want to select people for this group, and I should not be telling you guys this because, you know, look, if you do things and you change yourself because you're only looking out for your own personal being because because of greed, you know, or just because of whatever you fancy, is not going to get you to where I'm talking about. Because those things greed will always rear its ugly head. It does not matter. It will always rear its ugly head. Because your true intentions will come out. And if you're dealing with species that can read your mind and read your thoughts and can look at your entire life history, they're going to know your true intent. So me telling you this, and if you automatically just change, it's because you're wanting something better for yourself, and not just because you're honestly just saying, you know, I just want to be a better person. I don't really care. You know, whether for me personally, like I said before in my other video, did you see that idiot? I'm fine with going off into oblivion. I don't want to live forever. A lot of people do. They want to live forever. They want everything to be given to them on a silver platter. And they may say, well, you know, I don't mind working for it and stuff like that. But they still vacation. That's all I got to say. You know, when you work all year and you complain about your job, you complain about this, your boss or whatever, or going to work, and all you look forward to is vacation, well, when the time comes, and if you look at, you know, hey, this new world that these aliens are going to take me to is all going to be vacation land, why would they take you? What purpose are you going to serve on a new planet? Let's say like Planet X, for example, which everybody keeps talking about that, which I don't know if Planet X exists or not. It's funny because X, right? Planet X, now all of a sudden that's a big deal. Well, 1972 was Generation X, you know, but, and I know they've been talking about Planet X for the past like 10 years, I think, or 8 years or whatever. I think 2012 is when it became like more of a big deal. But yeah, why would they take you? Why would they select you? What are you going to do? You're going to end up being just like another one of the other rulers on this planet that caused problems for the entire human race. That you're literally, and if you're into a system, and we know systems are bad. So that debate that I was having with that woman the other day, I was talking about that, and then she was like, you know, oh, well, you know, it's like, okay, you don't get it, whatever. And then we were talking about systems, and she said, no matter what, humanity will always end up back in a system, because she is locked, if she's a real human being and not an NPC, which I think more of the latter is an NPC, but NPCs have to protect the system is all they know, that's what it is. But if this is a natural reality, and you're a human being, and you're locked into any system, banking, educational, religion, it doesn't matter what system it is. Those are put there to create institutions, to create control, period. And like, she was trying to tell me, well, she didn't understand what the problem with the money system is, the currency system. You don't need, look, and I try to break it down, I try to make it as simple as possible. I said, 400 years ago, in America, there were people, tribes who lived here without any systems at all. And you cannot understand that because you're locked into this mindset. You literally cannot understand it. Yet I see people run around with, you know, all this Native American stuff and pretend like they're Native Americans. You don't even understand anything about them because you are a system mind person. Okay? Those people, and they're like, and she was like, well, you know, they had their tribal wars and they had their stuff. That doesn't mean anything. There wasn't systems put in place to send them to go fight wars for any other reason than survival. That's a difference. And it's like, just could not understand it. Still thought, well, there's all these systems around, and she said, well, you know, well, the system took over, and now they're here and they're living in a system. And I said, okay, well, in Africa, there are tribes over there right now who don't have systems, right? They don't have systems. They're not living under a systematic rule, per se, within their tribes, and they don't need those systems. And she said, well, there's systems that protect them from other systems. I said, you just missed the point. You're still talking about systems. Systems are the problem, and you need systems to stop other systems from causing problems to some people who just want to live an indigenous lifestyle and just live. This can be done. However, why would aliens not just pick up tribes and just say, well, there we go, we got people who don't have systems, you know, people who don't, you know, and just take them? There's a problem with that. They left themselves, they're stuck in a time loop of their own. In other words, they haven't moved forward. Aliens are not looking, most like an advanced alien life form is not looking for humanoids on this planet that are going to not progress in the right direction, not in the wrong direction of creating systems of suppression. Because all systems of suppression, it does not matter. Even the educational system, how many times we hear, oh, they lied to us about this and that in the education? Done deal. Education should stop and end right there on the system, whether systems work. It should stop right there, that education system. So you have to, if I'm an advanced alien life form and I come here and I want to take a certain number of people here from this planet because there's about to be certain doom, then I'm going to look at their entire life and who they are and how they conducted themselves. Have they learned from their mistakes? You cannot be flawless and be worth any weight in salt. because this means that if you have had no major mistakes in your life and never learned from them, then if I take you to another planet and you make a mistake, well, who's to say you're not going to learn from those mistakes, right? And see, this has to be a fine balance. You think that you're the most complex creature in the universe, you're sadly mistaken. You know, and you think that a more advanced species is going to come here and pick you up just because you're special, because you want to be picking up and you want to be taken someplace better. You're mistaken about that too. They're going to look for a selfless, understanding, but also a battle-ready mind. And why would I say that? Because it's a good possibility that there are many, many wars, tons of wars out in space, on different planets, and planets warring with planets and stuff like that, because there's always going to be greed and a lot of other. So an advanced alien life form, if they're coming to pick you up just because they want you to be some greedy, battle-hardened warrior, well, that's exactly all you're going to end up in. You know, you're going to end up in that. And for some people, that's Valhalla, right? So that's they're okay with that, and I accept that too. But if there was a ladder on the road, so it fell off somebody's rack, got smushed. But if I'm taking you to another planet to live on, and to, you know, procreate and whatever, and to make that planet a better place, then I need to make sure that you're ready, and not just because you talk tough. You have to be getting yourself ready while you're here on this planet. And so let me tell you something real fast. So 9/11, like, you know, was a big deal for me. So when I opened my school, I would go and do every 9/11. We would do a big thing, you know, in front of a bunch of people to teach, you know, free knife, you know, self-defense against a knife attack. And literally, like, there'd be other shows and things going on, and when we came up there, almost everybody left. Like, a few people hung around. Like, only a few people hung around. So they were just not interested in learning how to protect themselves. And I had some old guy come up to me and just said, you know, that stuff that you're talking about, that would never happen on an airplane ever again, because Americans they would know the repercussions. And if 4 guys on a plane with box cutters decide they're going to take over an airplane full of 65 people, they would stop them. No, dude. No. Yeah, you're 100% wrong, because you're just saying just through anger they would stop them. I'm telling you, learn skills. You know, and I'm not just talking about I'm just saying in general. Even women with women's self-defense, that guy's flying. Same thing. You know, oh, well, I got mace, and that's just enough. What if the wind's blowing towards you? Well, you're gonna mace yourself. You know, but anyhow, if I'm taking you to another planet, and we're not there to sit there and babysit you as a higher species and higher being to protect you from other beings, because we have other things to do, and this is why we brought you here. And some other race, some other alien beings showed up. Well, you need to be able to fight and protect yourself and protect the other humans that were selected to come here. So if you think that an alien life form is going to come here just because you like to hug trees, and you think that everybody is good and all that, you're probably mistaken about that too. And if you end up going with aliens that are like that, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's all love and peace, and it's all good, then it's only a matter of time before you get conquered by another species with them. You know, it's a possibility that there's aliens out there that do like to eat human beings, like they have a flavor for it. However, why the hell would they travel all the way across the universe to come to this planet to eat, to have a buffet? It just doesn't make any sense. And even if they did, they would just have abducted a few people, took them back there, and then bred them like cows, and just eat them instead of coming back here. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. So, the whole thing with them eating humans, I just, I'm sure there are some that do. But for them just to keep coming back and forth and wasting resources and time to stop at the local, buffet, it just, I don't know if that's accepted in a galactic council of, all the other alien species out there. Like, no, you're not going to do that to them, and I'm sure that there would be other species out there to stop it from happening. But the way the universe works is the galaxy works, it's in rotation. Right? It rotates in a circle. Just like all the planets rotate in a circle. They all spin. And Earth is another spinning rotation. Whether you think it's a ball or flat plane, I don't give a shit. You call it whatever you want. Give it whatever you want. Look, the last time that people believed that this Earth was flat and they ruled this planet, they burned motherfuckers for saying that it wasn't flat. Those are flat earthers. They would burn people at the stake and make an event out of it. Giovanni Bruno, look it up. You want those people to be back in control again? So when people go onto this whole flat earth thing, and some things I can understand, some of the stuff that they're saying makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, you got to understand, their mindset is 2,000 years ago. And whether they want to say, well, we're not Christians or not, it doesn't matter. You're susceptible to it. If it came out and said, hey, yeah, we got proof that it's all flat, that's exactly where you'll end up. So anyhow, God, I'm gonna have to do another video on this because my voice is getting hoarse. I'm getting hungry. I want to stop and get something to eat here. If something happens on this planet, let's say it gets knocked off rotation, knocked off its axis or whatever, because humans made a huge grave mistake with nuclear weapons that caused volcanic explosions, that caused all kinds of issues that would end up screwing with things on this planet, it could cause a ripple effect to all other planets in their rotation. An advanced alien species is not going to let that happen. So there's going to be checks and balances for every single planet. Period. You see on Star Wars when they just blow up planets at will, and that's, come on, man, it's stupid. It's dumber than hell. You destroy a planet, you end up causing problems for all the neighboring planets. Just like if you cause a nuclear attack on America, where the nuke's gonna go off at? Near our Canadian border, which stuff's gonna fall out over there. Now you turn them all into your enemy. Near the Mexican border, where it's gonna make Mexico and anybody who's in Mexico into your enemy. Or maybe like out towards Alaska, where all that nuclear fallout's gonna wash back over into other countries and make them now into your enemy. Or are you gonna hit the middle of America, where you have one of the worst volcanoes in the world that can cause some serious problems for the entire world? It's fears. You live in a fear-mongering system. Use your critical thinking. Look at the map. Think about it. Look at the way nuclear fallout works. Think about it. Okay? It's just you got to break out of this stuff, guys. If you think that truly there's aliens here and that there are some that want to do good for humanity, they're not going to come here and babysit you, because you'll still never learn. You'll still be a shitty humanity. Period. And it's a possibility that 2020 is coming to a close, and that it could be the end of this world. The time hacking from 1973 to 2020 is because aliens hacked time. For good or ill, it doesn't matter to me. I don't even care. I really don't care. I do and I don't. So you have to have a balance. And the only way an advanced alien life form is ever going to want to bother you is if you have some type of, if you have good balance on spectrums across the board. But anyhow, that's about I've been talking for about 40 minutes about this. All right, I'll do another video about it, about this topic, because I know a lot of people were ranting. I'm getting hungry. I want to stop and eat still. It's morning time for me, and I'll talk some more about it. If you guys want to hear it, leave comments. You know, if you don't want to hear it, I won't talk anymore about it. There's a ton of stuff about alien behaviors and stuff I could be talking about. But all right, that's is that I'll just put comments in there. Let me know if you guys want to hear any more of this stuff. All right, I'm out.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.